welcome back to another episode of The Exercise Engineer. And this week is a little bit different. So I put a question box up on my Instagram. I'm going to do this every week going forward. So if you want to get involved, make sure you're following me at The Exercise Engineer. And I'm just going to answer as many of your questions as I can within like 20 minutes. So let's just get started. So I'm finding it hard and time consuming to track calories. Any tips? Okay, so the first tip I would go off is just commit to it for 2 to 3 weeks and really nail down your key meals that you eat. So like a lot of us will eat very similar meals throughout the weeks, over the months. Make sure you're having similar portions, because then you only have to realistically track it once or twice, and then you'll know the calories for that meal. So for example, I eat the same breakfast every single day. Well, for work. So working days, I have my overnight oats. It's exactly the same portion every week. I know I don't need to track it. I don't even weigh it out anymore because I know-ish what it is. I know how much protein's in it, and I know how many calories are in it, give or take. And I have that every day because it's tasty and I know it's fueling my body properly. So understanding your key meals is crucial, just to understand basics really of, are you fueling your body correctly? Are you working towards your goals every day? So I would definitely recommend tracking solidly for a few weeks until you understand what you're eating, and you don't have to necessarily track strictly all the time or like religiously anymore. Just remember, like, tracking is only a tool. Like, people used to lose weight all the time without tracking. Like, it's only realistically quite what's the word? A recent. It's only a recent tool that we've developed to help us to try and lose weight and understand how much fuel our body needs and stuff like that. So that's going to help accelerate fat loss or muscle growth, but it's not impossible to do those things without tracking. So remember that it's only a tool, and just understand that your body will naturally lose weight or gain muscle without tracking. It's not like it's absolutely impossible. I find that bulk cooking as well is a really, really good way of understanding your, like, a really easy way to track multiple meals in one go, because you just add all the calories up of all the ingredients that you've put in and divide it by the number of portions, and that is it's a crude estimate of how many calories are in that portion, and it's the fastest way to do it. Instead of individually doing every single meal, if you bulk cook, there you can just divide it into the number of portions. And if food is like a struggle to reduce, look at the other side of the energy balance equation. So remember, in order to lose fat, you need to either reduce what you're eating to create a calorie deficit, or increase your energy expenditure to create a calorie deficit. Or you can do a mixture of the two. So remember that it's not always the tracking, it's not always the food side that you need to hone in on. Often it is, because a lot of people don't understand what they're actually fueling their body with, and they think they're eating healthy foods where in fact it's actually quite high in fat and actually quite high in calories, often more often than not. People are eating more calories than they think, even though they think it's healthy, which is not their fault at all. It's all to do with advertising. It's all to do with packaging on foods. Like, something might say high protein, but realistically, compared to what our body needs, it's not actually that high protein, and it's not going to help you lose weight. And also, one final thing with the tracking, I want you to focus on a calorie average over the week. So similar to your step goals, it doesn't just reset at midnight. It doesn't quite work like that. So if you know that maybe you didn't hit your steps, like maybe you only get to 8,500 steps yesterday, and you think, right, okay, I'll just up it to 11,500 today, and it will balance out eventually. You can sort of do that with your calories as well. Just obviously don't get into that binge restrict cycle where you eat a colossal amount and then feel really guilty and then binge. It's more of just a adaptive tool that you can use going forward. If you think, I did overeat slightly tonight because I went out for tea, so maybe I could either increase my steps for tomorrow or have a smaller breakfast. It's not restricting, it's just averaging it out over the week. So really, really important. So don't think you've just thrown it all away if you have one evening out. Like, it's not at all. If you go over by 500 calories, if you're in a calorie deficit for the rest of the week and you go over from one meal by 500, there's always ways to gain it back as part of your weekly win. Like, realistically, you would still be in a calorie deficit if you only go over on one day by 500, because the rest of the week is under. Does that make sense? So also, one final thing on that is the days when it's hardest to motivate yourself are often the days that it's going to count. So the days that you do not want to get out of bed to go on that walk, to go on that run, to get your workout in, those are the days that count the most, because those are the days that you are showing up for yourself even when you're not motivated. And that is the key. Like, motivation is not going to be there forever, so being able to do something when you're not motivated is crucial to success for whatever goal, because we are not always motivated at all. Trust me, we are not always motivated. Okay, I went into quite a lot of depth. I thought I was going to get through more questions than this, but I do ramble on, don't I? Okay, would you ever turn vegan? It's interesting question. Never say never. I would never say, oh my god, no way, I can't do it. I do veganuary most years, but I do find I end up more bloated, and I think that is increase in plants and other foods that my body's not used to, maybe a bit more soya and tempeh and foods like that. It did get me eating more veg, even though I already eat quite a lot of veg and fruit and everything like that. I would never say I never would, but if I was going to turn vegan, they would have to do something about the vegan protein, because it's so earthy. I really don't like it. I've tried multiple times and I have it through veganuary, but honestly, I'm glad when it's over. And I think I can do veganuary quite easily because I know there's an end to it. I'm like, come on, nearly there. Like, counting down the days. Whereas if I knew I was going full time, I would really miss particular foods. Like, oh, I love a salmon, steak, chicken. Sorry if there's any vegans listening thinking, just shut up, Louise. Anyway, next question. Tips on not feeling like a failure after not having a good week with eating and doing the workouts. Okay, stop right there. You are not a failure. Just because you are failing at something does not make you a failure. The minute you become a failure is when you quit. When you absolutely quit. So just because you've failed a few times during the week or you've failed before at a diet does not mean you are going to fail this time. Just because you might have had a few days where it's been a bit rocky does not make you a failure. Just remember that. Really, really remember that. You are not a failure. What can you improve on for the next week? Like, failing is part of the learning process, and that's why I say failing instead of failure, because when we do things wrong, when we mess up, when things don't go our way, there's always learning opportunities from that. And that's the stuff that is not good. Like, that's the bit that's like, no, you're not a failure. If you learn from those situations, if you learn and create lessons from why things didn't go to plan and why that happened, that is the most crucial bit to learning and developing. Like, failure, like, you learn more from failure than you do from success, because you learn what not to do, which is more crucial than just learning, oh yeah, that went well, let's do it again. Obviously that's still beneficial, but more beneficial if something goes totally tits up and you're like, right, definitely won't be doing that again. I think also remembering why you started and just reminding yourself how far you've actually come. Like, a few of my clients that have been with the Train with Lou membership, like, this whole time, have wobbles. They have wobbles during the weeks, and it's like, just remember how far you've come. Like, some of them have been with me like a year and a half, if not 2 years. And it's remember where you started, remember why you started, and just remember how far you've actually come. Like, are you training because you enjoy it? That's the sort of questions you need to be asking yourself. Like, maybe think about, if you're not enjoying the workouts anymore, think about how you can move your body in other ways that feel good. Like, do you want to open up to other forms of exercise to mix it up? Like, maybe you want to start running, maybe badminton, bouldering. That's a really random one, but so good for you. Like, the strength and the grip. A lot of people are now getting into like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and MMA and like functional fitness and movement as well. So I think that in itself is just finding other forms of movement, especially if you can do like badminton, for example, or ping pong. We went to play ping pong the other day. It was a work social, and oh my god, so much fun. And some people were really working up quite a sweat, and it's like, that might be actually quite good exercise. And a great way to get out, great way to meet people, etc., etc. Another thing on not having a good week is just reminding yourself that you are choosing this path. Like, it's an empowering decision that you want to work out. You are working towards that goal that you want. Just think that you get to work out. It's like, oh my god, yeah, I get to do that because you can. Like, train because you love your body, not because you hate it. Like, oh, the feeling of movement, the feeling when you've finished it, like maybe not during, because some of those workouts are absolute killer, but just thinking that, yes, I get to work out. I can work out. Not that you have to. The fact that you want to, for your health, to become the strongest, fittest, healthiest, happiest version of yourself. And also with the fueling and the food that you're putting in your body, is you get to fuel your body. Not what are you cutting out. It's you get to fuel your body in a way that feels good. And self-care, there's nothing higher in form of self-care than putting your body first, putting your health first, exercising to make your body feel good, fueling your body to make your body feel good. And I think just reminding yourself those, and like sitting down, reflecting what went badly that week, how can you improve, reminding yourself of why you started, all of those things, super crucial. So just remind yourself of those things, guys, because you're doing really well. Like, you are doing really well. All my gals in the Train with Lou membership, I love you all. And boys, you're in there too. Sorry, I always say gals. You can be gals. Anyway, next question. What habits can I add to help keep on track? That's a good question. What habits can you add to help keep on track? Okay, I'm going to strip it back to basics. Let's focus on the simple things like sleep and fresh air. Are you getting enough sleep? Are you getting fresh air first thing on the morning? Those simple habits will 100% keep you on track, because when you have more sleep, you're in a better mood, you're more motivated, you have more energy. Like, fresh air on a morning will help reset your circadian rhythm and make you feel great. The outside just boosts your mood anyway, and you're more likely to work out towards your goals than like when you're in a good mood than if you're not in a good mood. So really try and focus on what are the things that help you be in a good mood. Like, what puts you in the best mood, and try and do those. And once you implement more of those habits, you'll realise that actually you're in a good mood, you want to work towards those goals, you're more motivated to work towards those goals. Then the more you see, when you see it all working, you're then more motivated, and motivation creates action, and action creates motivation. So it's that spiral effect of you feel good, you do something that makes you feel even better, and it's just a continuum. Whereas in the opposite, you're much less likely to do something that you know is going to benefit you long term when you're in a bad mood because you want a quick fix. For example, well, this is also linking to the sleep. If your alarm goes off and you went to sleep in a bad mood, or like maybe you had a really bad dream and you wake up in a bad mood, like some people, like you just do sometimes. I don't even know where I was going with that now. You are more likely to work towards your goals, if you've had enough sleep, you wake up in a good mood, and you are actively reminding yourself that you are working towards that goal. I don't know where I'm going with this. I've totally gone off track there. But just to reduce your stress levels, that is also a super, super simple thing that you can add to help you work towards your goal and keep you on track. Because the more stressed you are, the less likely you are to work towards your goals, because it's all about that delayed gratification. And the more stressed you are, the more you want that instant gratification, not the delayed gratification. So just to quickly go over what that is. Delayed gratification is waking up and doing a workout because you know that your body in the long run is going to benefit from it. The instant gratification is rolling over and turning your alarm like on snooze because you want that extra hour in bed instead. So you are getting that instant gratification of an extra hour in sleep, or the delayed gratification of your health and fitness in the long run. And lack of sleep and high stress levels will make you reach towards that instant gratification a lot more than the delayed gratification. I think also understanding your cues. So another habit that you can add to help keep you on track, I think, is not having. Is this a habit that you can add or remove? So I don't have loads of sweet treats in the house because otherwise I'll eat it. Why test yourself if you know you don't want to eat it? Why have it there? Because you're only just testing yourself. You're just testing that willpower even more, and it will cave eventually. So just be careful with that. So remove the sweet drawer. Like, just don't have it in the house. And instead of trying to stop a bad habit, focus on replacing it. So don't suppress the thoughts of eating chocolate because you'll likely rebound and then like focus on it too much. Think, what can you replace chocolate with? Or maybe you just keep the chocolate in, but you don't have it in the house. So if you want it, you have to walk to a shop. That's a great way of removing easy habits. So just make them harder. Put something in the way that's going to stop you from rebounding back to that habit of eating sweet things on an evening. If you have to walk to a shop to get it, you're much less likely to do it. And just remember that willpower is just not enough. So I think my 5 top tips, or 5 like good habits to get into, is sleep, fuel, morning movement, morning sunlight, and a good nighttime routine, because that'll set you up for the rest of the day. And I've been through that way more detail in another episode. Next question. How to find motivation when feeling a bit poorly? Okay, it's important to rest. Let's just remember that. Like, listen to your body as well, because sometimes we do need a rest, and it is your body telling you to slow down. And I'm such a hypocrite because I will still power through, but I do rest when I need to. When I was marathon prepping and I got an injury in my leg, and I was like, oh my gosh, no, went to see a physio. They were just like, rest it for 2 weeks. And I was like, but the marathon's in 3 weeks. But it was literally just like, if you want to run that marathon, you rest it as much as possible. You've put in most of the hard work now, just rest it and then wing it on the day. See what, she didn't say wing it, but it was very much close to just, if you want to do it, you'll be able to do it, but probably not optimally, which was a shame, but you know. If you want to continue with my workouts, or you train with Lou membership people, take the jumps out of the workout. Just listen to your body and just maybe take the jumps out if your body does feel a little bit achy. Pilates and mobility workouts, like, still move your body in a way that feels good, and that'll still make you feel good. It'll boost your mood, and actually it'll make you feel so much better. Nutrition is super, super important when you're ill. Get as much vegetables, vitamins, minerals in your body as possible, and that will help fight whatever, when you're feeling poorly. I don't know what you've got. Plenty of sleep, rest and recovery. It's likely that your body's immune system is shutting down because you've overdone it. like that is definitely a possibility. So remember, rest, recovery, stretching, that's all really, really good forms of movement. If you can, maybe just walk more instead, like get outside, maybe just walk around the flat, walk on a treadmill. Just, I wouldn't say walk on a treadmill, actually, that just sounds awful. Like, scrap that. Get outside, walk, get some fresh air, get some daylight on you, get some vitamin D, and that will only benefit you. If you're going to be poorly for more than a week, obviously you don't know exactly how long you're going to be ill for, but maybe you've been told not to exercise for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 10 months, who knows. Then that's when you would start to look at reducing your calories, because you are reducing your movement quite significantly. So it's all about balancing that energy equation again and making sure you're not putting your body into a calorie surplus for a long time, because then you will start to feel a bit crapper because you'll feel more bloated and heavier, and nobody wants that. Yes, it's fine to put on a little bit of weight, especially while you are poorly or you're going through your period, or tell me about it, anything like that. But again, just listen to your body. If you know you can power through, that's fine. But more often than not, a lot of people are poorly quite a lot of the time. So are you poorly? Just ask yourself, are you actually poorly? Can you power through? Maybe just try the workout for 10-15 minutes. If you still feel really crap at the end of that 10-15 minutes, then stop. If you feel better for doing it, then that will help, like that will motivate you for the rest of the day. So it might just be that kickstart that you need. So just 10-15 minutes of the workout, take the jumps out, and then you will see. I was just trying to read the next question. It just says, get a healthy balance of everything. It's not really a question, but how... it's not really a question. I don't know what to say about that one. But understanding that, yes, it is all about balance. And too much of a good thing does not make it a good thing anymore. So... especially, again, linking back to when I was training for the marathon, I was running a lot. I was doing a lot of exercise, and that's probably why I got injured, because I just overdid it. So remember that, yes, motivation's good, but if you struggle with motivation, if you struggle with knowing what's right to eat, if you struggle with knowing where to start, if you hate the thought of going to a gym, give me a follow, check out my Train with Lou membership. Come and change the way that you see food and fitness forever. Because it will change your life. Like, home workouts have changed my life. Tracking, meal prepping my lunches and breakfast, again, changed my life. I'm just going to really, really, really quickly do one more question, because it's really quick. I've just read it. And then I'll come back and do another episode for the rest of the questions, because there was so many. When it comes to meal prep for lunchtime, could you do some cold options, as I aren't able to heat them up at work? So, just spitting a few options out there. Pasta, that's a good one. Pizza, if you like eating it cold, like you can make some like mini pizzas. And then I love cold pizza, I don't know about you. Lots of different salads, as long as you've got a high protein option in there as well. Wraps are a great way, like, yes, they're quite calorie dense, the actual wrap itself. But I'm not being funny, anything in a wrap tastes better. Like, anything. So just whack anything in a wrap. Smoothie bowls, I love smoothie bowls. If you want, like, I make overnight oats for my breakfast, but I know a lot of people who prefer sweet things, even for lunch. So if you get you could, like, top it up with granola and nuts, and a bit of honey, peanut butter. Just be careful with the high fat options, because they do add up. And stir fries, 100% so easy. Although that's not a cold, you can eat stir fry cold. I'm pretty sure I do. Or you can heat that up as well. But especially in summer, like, I love a fresh salad. It's great. It's great. Okay, I am going to stop rambling on there. If you enjoyed this episode, please forward it to someone that you know, and rate, review, whatever, or subscribe. I don't know which platform you're listening on, and let me know. And keep an eye out on Instagram for my weekly Q&A box, and then I will make sure your question gets answered in one of my next few podcast episodes. Okay, bye-bye, guys. Thanks for listening.